Outlaw Sports is brought to you by Molson Canadian, made from Canada, and Rocky Mountain Barbecue, Alberta barbecue cuisine at its best.
Time to play rapid fire, so hurry up. Don't waste time like you normally friggin' do.
I'll be so fast.
We've heard that of you. Anyhow, first thing I want to talk to you about, Grant, Baertschi. Sven Baertschi.
Or Baertschi.
Baertschi.
He said, we asked him,
yeah,
how should we pronounce your name?
Yeah.
He goes, it doesn't matter. You call me, you could, somewhere in Switzerland they call me this, sometimes they call me this. Baertschi, doesn't matter.
Interesting, once he was gone, that
Five-game losing skid.
5-game losing streak.
Can't score goals.
He scored 3 in 5 games. Did
Sniper type goals from the slot.
Energy.
Great shot. Yes.
You know, you saw a smile.
They can't keep him. They couldn't keep him.
I know.
But that's exactly what they need.
I'm just making that point.
You're absolutely right. Yeah. Absolutely right. They need that kind of sniper guy. Guys like Blake Como, David Moss are trying their best. But, you know, they shoot like me. I mean, 100 shots, you may get a goal. Like, look at Blake Como's goal the other night from way out. I mean, get kind of over the glove. Yeah. You know, lucky goal. First goal in about 15 games. So, but Baertschi, sniper's goal. Flames need that.
Exciting prospect for the future.
Absolutely.
Absolutely is.
Yes, no question.
The 3-point games, Grant, I hate them. It's like baseball. You play 12 innings, you have a winner, you have a loser. You have 2 points, you have 0. That's what they need. Too many it just clogs up the playoff race.
So you don't like 4 or 5 teams fighting?
No,
Isn't this
I like
exciting?
that, but at the same time, let's just have.
But you wouldn't have this.
Well, you get teams that you know kind of squeak in with those 15 as opposed to teams that are better.
Yes,
better.
But it allows teams to, you know, more teams involved in the mix. So, and that's for a competitive. That's good business, and that's what the NHL is. So Bettman likes it. Because now, if your team didn't have as many points because of the 3-point system, and you weren't in the playoffs right now, you probably wouldn't get you probably lose a few thousand people at the games. So therefore, it's a money business.
What do the Flames have? 15 points from. Is that what it is?
Yes.
That's a lot of points.
Here's one thing too. Flames fans should remember: the Flames have, if there is a tiebreaker needed to decide who gets in the 8th and final playoff spot. As it stands right now this week, there's still a few more games to go. The Flames are better than 4 teams they're fighting for the tiebreaker. Most regular period wins. I think at this taping they've got about 32. Most have 31. One team has 34. So it's still a factor, Mike. If you get more regulation wins, you have a better chance of making the playoffs.
What changes do you make next year if you are the Flames?
You told me this is rapid fire. Do not go on. You cannot ask me that question when you're saying, okay, let's play rapid fire. Well, so don't ask me that, because that takes a long discussion. I have lots to say about that.
Well, for another day, should we leave that for another day, or do you want to give us kind of the Reader's Digest?
Let's play rapid fire, kids.
Okay.
Because I've heard some rumblings down at the Saddle Dome that there may be a change of philosophy that fans might like, and that is building for the future, not spending so much, going with younger kids.
Okay, since we're not going to deal with this, how about the fans being a little pissed off at the Flames and not settling? I mean, every year.
What?
Well,
not settling for what?
Just mediocrity.
But they've been like that for a million years.
But it's time to get pissed off. Why write those big checks for a team that you know is going to just flirt with that last playoff spot?
We've talked about that here before. We're Toronto West.
I know that.
And I talked to a lawyer the other day who has a law firm. And he was saying he goes to the games. I'm going with my son, all this kind of stuff. And I said, and he always bitches about this team.
Yeah.
And I say, yeah, we've got 4 tickets. Well, how much would 4 good tickets cost? Is it $100,000? Is it? I don't know. It's big money.
Yeah.
And he says, oh yeah, we just get them every year. Yeah. So you're right. Yeah. That's mediocrity, but that's not going to stop for a while. But I hear, Mike, there's a change. There may be a change coming. That's just a tease for when you want to talk longer about it.
All right, we'll take a short break. When we come back, some more rapid fire.
Or rapid.
Almost rapid.
More rapider.
More rapider.
Feeling the winter chill? Call the experts at Simply Yours Windows and Doors. Get the job done right, on time, and on budget. Their number one concern is your comfort.
We haven't talked for a while. Daniel Sedin's out with a concussion. 5 games.
For Duncan Keith?
Duncan Keith. Your thoughts overall? Will he be back in time for the playoffs? I mean,
Nobody knows.
They're pretty guarded on this, aren't they?
Well, yes, they are guarded. The Canucks are guarded, but they did admit that it is a concussion. Alain Vigneault, the head coach, did say it's a concussion, which teams don't always say that now.
Yeah.
They're more guarded. Even though you're not a big Vancouver Canucks fan, there's a lot of people out there who aren't Canucks fans in the Calgary area. You want Daniel Sedin in the playoffs,
sure.
don't you?
Yeah.
And that would be a shame if Duncan Keith is playing. He probably comes back later this week with the Blackhawks, that he gets to play and Daniel Sedin can't because Keith put him out.
Matt Cook is still playing in Pittsburgh. Mark Savard's career is probably done.
Yeah.
At what point do they get smart about this? I mean, it's almost...
They're not going to.
I know. It's almost like... You hurt a guy, you stay out as long as he does.
You and I, anybody in the media should stop talking about headshots because they're not going to change, Mike. We saw that with Shane Doan. Shane Doan, one of the nicest guys, toughest guys in the league, and that brutal elbow to Jamie Benn of the Dallas Stars. Then you've got Duncan Keith, who leaves his feet, leaps at Daniel Sedin. So why are we talking about getting headshots out of the game when the players continue to do it? It's a non-discussion issue for me from now on.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Brian Burke, do you keep him in Toronto?
Yes.
You do, right?
Yes. We need him. You need Brian Burke in the game. He's got to be somewhere because he's just too good. He's too TV savvy. I love seeing what he's going to, like Daryl Sutter. I want to see and hear what he's going to say. That's not to say he's done a great job in Toronto.
That's why I'm saying it.
I'm not saying that. But let's I mean, if you're a Leaf fan, I guess you care about what the Leafs are going to do. But are they going to go after Rick Nash in a big way? Are they going to go after Zach Parise, perhaps the two big free agents in the offseason? I think Brian Burke will want to do something like that to save the Leafs, to save his face. So yes, keep Burke around. Let's see what he's going to do in this offseason with the Leafs.
In the end run, does bringing Randy Carlyle in really change much
No,
there?
I don't think so.
These players are really auditioning for him right now, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's all it is.
And the way Randy Carl likes to get a team going, you saw him with Anaheim when they won the Stanley Cup. It's a tough team. It's a mean team to play against. The Leafs aren't like that. They don't have the components, the players to play like that. So I don't understand why. I think that was a PR move. I guess it was to appease the fans to get rid of Ron Wilson. So I don't think Carlisle, even though they may be auditioning for next year, do they really have the pieces? Do they have if they had a goaltender, put Mika Kiprasov in the Leafs, we might be talking differently.
But all you heard at the start of the year was Reimer and how good the monster could be. I mean, you heard all these stories and how deep they were at goaltending, and in the end,
it's the worst tandem in the league right now.
Really, they are. Who has a bigger fall, Toronto or Minnesota? And saying that, Mike Yeo and Chuck Fletcher have already been given the proverbial green light to return next year. But man, what does that do to your dressing room when you send that signal that, hey, we're okay with these guys?
The Minnesota Wild, to me, have no identity. I don't know what they're all about. So to say Chuck Fletcher and Mike Yeo are still going to continue on, I don't, does anybody care? I don't think they do around the NHL.
Yeah.
We have no identity factor with the Minnesota Wild. They're just there. They're just an entity. There's no personal relationship. There's no empathy towards that team like there are other teams in the NHL.
Quebec talking about the new rink, and Winnipeg, the season that they had. Close but no cigar, but dynamite at home, just crappy on the road.
Winnipeg has done one thing, in my opinion, for the NHL, and that is to show that small Canadian markets can work.
Yes.
Especially with the new CBA and with the Canadian dollar like it is and the Canadian economy in Western Canada doing fairly well. No, it's not Quebec City. So I think Winnipeg, what they've done, still the same Atlanta Flames or Atlanta Thrashers kind of team, still out of the playoff picture. But I think they've done more than anything is show the NHL, the big wigs in the States, that small market Canadian hockey can work. Bodes well for Quebec City next year, when I believe the Phoenix Coyotes will be there to start the season. When next season starts remains up in the air. But isn't that good? I think it's great for Canada, Quebec City. And I'm sure
where it matters.
And I'm sure the players will be, even though they'll miss going down to the warm Phoenix in the wintertime, they love going to Quebec City for that nightlife and having fun. I know that for a fact. I've seen them.
I've been there.
I've been there.
I've lived the life.
Why my voice changed there, I don't know.